Uzangpo and a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week. I'm Tandon Finzo. In this week's top stories, Their Majesties the King and the Gyaltsen attend Pel Decho Khorlo Dompe Wangchen in Punakha. 6 hakangs across the country have lost 13 elephant tusks and a rhino horn to burglars in the last 5 months. And tens and thousands of devotees living in sheds in Punakha are faced with water and power supply shortage. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Gyaltsen are in Punakha attending Pel Decho Khorlo Dompe Wangchen.
His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Gyaltsen were received in a traditional chipdrill procession. Later, members of the Wangchen committee offered Kusung Tuki mineral to His Majesty the King for his long life. His Majesty the King also interacted with tikus, lams and hundreds and thousands of devotees attending the Wangchen.
The empowerment of Decho Khorlo Dompe is very important and is very crucial for the Pelden Tupas, because this is the Deva or the Yidam for the Pelden Tupas. So that's why the Decho Khorlo Dompe's empowerment is starting from today, and it will be remain for 4 days.
Some of the devotees spoke to BBS. The Wangchen has attracted thousands of devotees, some from as far as Ladakh, Nepal, Sikkim, Tawang, Hungary and Darjeeling. Compiled for Chunidema and Kinzangtile, Dorjema, BBS News.
On Tuesday, His Majesty the King granted an audience to Tomoki Nita, the outgoing chief representative of JICA Bhutan office. Tomoki Nita's wife and the new chief representative, Yumiko Asakuma, were also present at the audience. Tomoki Nita took up the post of chief representative in May 2009. He had served the JICA office in Bhutan for 3 years and 7 months. Back home, Tomoki Nita will head the Japan Overseas Cooperation Volunteers Training Center. A total of 13 elephant tusks and a rhino horn were stolen since August this year from 6 hakangs across the country. A police record shows a total of 13 offences against the culture and national heritage. 91 such cases were reported last year.
The recent robbery took place at Ugensemol Hakang above Taksang Monastery in Paro. 2 pairs of elephant tusks were stolen on Thursday night. Police say the burglars entered into the Hakang by removing the steel window grille. They left behind this knife and a car wheel wrench, which was apparently used by the burglars to break in. A rhino horn and a pair of elephant tusks were also stolen from Yami Gyempa in Punakha recently. While in November, a pair of elephant tusks from Pukmolal Hakang in Thimphu and 1 elephant tusk from Masi Poktol Hakang in Wangdi was stolen. In the month of September, Shobal Hakang in Wangdi lost a pair of elephant tusks. Meanwhile, in August, Pangkha Gyempa also in Wangdi lost a pair of elephant tusks. And all the Hakangs are located in far and isolated places. As of now, none of the miscreants have been caught and the cases are still under investigation. According to the police, it becomes challenging due to late report of the incidents and the porous border. The Crime and Operations Branch of Police also announced a reward of 100,000 Yultrum to those who gives information about the cases. Sherob Zangmo for BBS News.
Tens of thousands of people living in temporary sheds in Punakha for the Wangchen are faced with water and power supply shortage. Some even do not have enough water to wash their faces.
These are the temporary houses near Changyul area in Punakha. 6 to 8 people are sharing the small space in each of these shelters. Amid the congestion of these houses, most dwellers are deprived of even basic necessities like water. Chadodema from Ongdipodrang is one of these tenants living in Changyul area to attend the Pel Dechokorlo Dombai Wangchen. She, along with her family, occupies one of the CGI sheds built by a businessman from Kurutang in Punakha who owns over 300 of these sheds. Over 2,000 people occupy these sheds, paying a rent of over 10,000 niltrim. According to Chadodema, the owner had promised to provide sufficient water and electricity supply to all the tenants before renting out these shelters, but not all promises were fulfilled. There is no enough water supply for the tenants here.
Kasamdidi light gira ani bebera te khangim churung achmi gara pun ip 11 12 de chasta anale jongda jin bebe anale jongda gi da chudi da midi khora gi kangel mebe jini slab deba shindang achi risi party bebe turlen ban sab chibala ngachi gi am chi problem de khatale light dingoi de da chudi mijime maligi.
Besides water problem, there is also not proper toilet facility for the tenants. Earlier, the landlord had promised a toilet each for every 4 tenants.
Tale dato beuda di toilet ga thobi me ma dire ro toilet ai le fai darangi chebe be go slab de bala khatsam mai cha changa diba ma jobe
nimang nga cha chosu anwela topan chumi thabela ri khara chini chue mi thabe te min nasula dokula mambati na jinagi songkone nyube mambati tibe ri chaptola nga cha kangi one theila
de chudin da toba mapalaram chuthomisi bela chresha gapchi de da pa lamagero wa go zumola da lage lu puptigi na sunsu benedigi de khalama chua jodola theta gapchila
chudami ki kangen thendigi be de namasamela khataila che.
Meanwhile, the owner of the shed said there are over 80 toilets built for over 360 shelters here.
Chapsa gulu number chabde bila mendra tan chapsa gulu number chabde abda te room gi number da chapsa number chogara thimichugi anu dimi chap me tawara chapsa problem di.
There are altogether over 1,700 temporary sheds built near Wangchen area for the devotees by 5 landlords in Punakha. Each of these sheds is occupied by not less than 6 people. Although there is no proper water and electricity supply and no proper sanitation, yet these devotees share the space in harmony without much grievances. Compiled for Chunidema, this is Pemal Harden for BBS News.
Reports of Indian government's decision to red flag BBS TV as a hate channel following an alert by the Intelligence Bureau are being labelled as incompetent and stupid. Earlier this month, 24 foreign channels, one of which included BBS TV, were put on notice for showing anti-India television shows.
In what could be a surprise move by the Indian government this month, 24 foreign channels were identified as malicious for broadcasting anti-Indian contents, and BBS Television is one of these hate channels. According to the Indian media reports, the move to block the hate channels follow after the Indian Intelligence Bureau noticed these channels were one or the other causes for tensions between the communities. Responding to this, the Information and Communications Secretary said branding BBS Television as inflammatory and anti-India is stupid.
I don't believe that the government of India would classify BBS as an anti-Indian channel. Okay, and if there's a report saying that, I think it's a stupid report. You know, it's something people will laugh at. People who know Bhutan, BBS, India, not just the relations, anyone who would know BBS and BBS's policy, I think would find it very funny. So to me, if it's an intelligence report, it's a very unintelligent report.
The report by the Intelligence Bureau on BBS Television as hate channel, according to the Indian ambassador to Bhutan, was incompetent and shameful.
I believe it's a result of a clerical mistake. There is no way. Either you say that the Intelligence Bureau of India has intelligence which is completely below par, or you discredit the story. I would choose to do the latter.
The report also says that most of the hate channels focus on news or religious affairs. It has also said that BBS Television is illegally downlinked and freely available to viewers in northeastern states and in areas bordering Nepal. The archaeologist said illegal downlinking is a complex technology issue that requires effective answer to deal with.
BBS has signed an agreement with an organization to downlink BBS in India, so then it can be uplinked again. It can be broadcast to all the remote parts of Bhutan through DTH. And that process is going on. Our government has also been supporting it, and recently the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has asked some clarifications, which we have given. So we're expecting that to be coming soon, the legal channel.
Majority of these hit channels are Pakistan-based. Out of 24, 14 Pakistani television have been red flagged. Sonam Funso for BBS News.
With no timely repair works, road condition in some parts of Thimphu town is bad. However, there is good news for the motorists now. Thimphu Thomde office has begun road improvement works in some 8 places in the capital.
Of the 8 areas where roads are in bad condition, one is definitely the road above the vicinity of Olakha workshop. It is riddled with potholes, but now the Thomde office is carrying out the resurfacing works over these potholes. The road along the Changbangdu area will also be repaired and blacktopped. While the resurfacing works over the potholes are being carried out by the engineering division of Thimphu Thomde, maintenance and blacktopping of roads have been given to private construction firms.
This year we have a capital budget of 25 million for the improvement of roads and 15 million for maintenance of the roads. The improvement of road, we have already awarded the work to MBS K Rangrik Construction Company, and the work order was issued on 26 with effectively from 26 November, and will be completed within 5 months time period.
Other than the government, the budget for road maintenance came from the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank. This will be the first major road improvement works carried out by the Thimphu Thomde office after taking over the responsibility of urban roads maintenance from the Department of Roads in July 2011. Bemal Harden for BBS News.
Villagers in Dangdung in Langtil Gyeok in Tongsa have been complaining of water shortage in their village. They say the problem cropped up after the Mangdechu hydroelectric project's permanent residential constructions began.
About 50 households in Dangdung village under Langtil Gyeok in Trongsa are facing extreme water shortage. They have been deprived of their sole water source, which has fallen under the Mangdechu hydroelectric project area. Since the village and the project residents share the same water source, this has led to extreme water shortage among them.
Since they are constructing building, they have put a water source inside their area. The rural water supply scheme that we have is not enough.
Meanwhile, the village Sokpa said the water source would be taken back once the project constructions are complete. According to the Langtil GUP, the water problem is severe and they have hopes that the project would soon come up with a solution.
The only water source is under the project area. They have also constructed road from both the sites and labor camp near the source. I feel this is one reason for insufficient water supply.
The matter was also raised during the recent visit of Trongsa Zongda. In the meantime, the project authority says some temporary arrangements are already underway.
There had been some disturbance when we started the work there at the Damdum colony, where we are constructing the permanent quarters, office buildings, etc. for the Mangdechu project. But that has to be disturbed invariably, and we had found out an alternative also by providing temporary pipelining and temporary irrigation and water line and drinking water supply also, and for which sanction was obtained, and our Honorable JMD also had been at my site once, and we decided along with the Jongkao administration officials to make a temporary arrangement for this water supply as well as irrigation, and which is already underway. And after that, the permanent arrangement will be made after the completing the construction.
The construction works of the project's permanent residential colony will complete by mid-2013. Compiled for Surjaman Thapa, this is Pemal Harden for BBS News.
Suspension of housing loans has affected constructions in Nganglam. Many houses under construction are lying incomplete as the housing loan continues to remain suspended.
Sangye Ishu was forced to stop construction of his building in Gangnam town when all financial institutions in the country suspended loans last year.
I could only finance until this stage. If the banks do not help, I will not be able to restart construction. If this happens, whatever I have invested so far would go to waste.
Sangye Ishi is not alone. There are many like him. Chetan Singh demolished his old building to build a new one.
I pulled down my old buildings, which cost me over 1.5 million ngiltam to build the new one. Banks told me I will not be given loan until I build the first floor on my own. And just as I completed the construction of first floor, the loan suspension came through.
Tsampa Tenzin Chopel's condition is no better. It has been over 6 months since works on his building construction came to a complete halt.
I decided to construct a building only because I knew loans would enable me to do it. But now, with the housing loan suspended, I am helpless. I don't think I can proceed without loan.
As the constructions lie incomplete, building owners see no solution in sight except to wait for financial institutions to reopen housing loan. Compiled for Kingatashi Pemosuki for BBS News.
The Tingbi Palm Farm Road in Jemgang, constructed some 6 years ago, is not benefiting the farmers much. This is because the road is in dire need of maintenance.
The Tingbi Palm Farm Road under Tronggyok in Shemgang remained abandoned with overgrown bushes grown on either side of the road. The road is riddled with potholes and does not even have drains along the road. Stagnant water is spread over the road since monsoon season. Villagers of Tingbi and Palm said the road did not bring them much relief as they could not use the road. The road was not maintained.
Maintenance of road by the villagers is difficult, especially during monsoon. We offered our land to road construction, but at the end we are not benefited by this road.
To this, the Dzongkhag agriculture officer said maintenance of roads should be carried out by the beneficiary themselves.
If major damages and blocks are caused, then only we support them. But blockage of drains and clearing bushes should be done by beneficiaries themselves.
The 3.4-kilometer road was initially constructed as a power tiller track for the farmers to enhance their income through the sale of local produce. It was constructed in 2006 under the decentralized support program connecting lower part of Trong villages. Compiled for Pema Samdrup, this is Pemal Harden for BBS News.
The villagers in Nanunggyok in Pemagasel have a reason to rejoice. The Ngangshing Wuliktang Farm Road will be complete in few months from now. The road will enable them to market the farm produce.
The groundbreaking ceremony of 7.6 kilometers farm road from Ngangshing to Wuliktang under Nanunggyok in Pemagasel was held on 21st December. According to the village Sokpa, the farm road will immensely benefit the locals.
When the government provides us with such facility, one should work hard and make best use of it. Since these villages have been best in the Gyok, they can now make good income by using the farm road.
The villagers said so far they have been facing difficulties in walking all the way to the road point. But now things would improve.
Even though we have farm produce to sell, we face difficulties while transporting them to the nearest market. Now we are happy as we will soon have the road network. We are also planning to form a dairy farmers group.
In 9 months from now, the farm road will be complete. The total cost of the farm road is over 5.5 million niltum. It is been funded by the Market Agriculture and Growth Intensive Project. Compiled for Tiladoji, Sonam Hamo for BBS News.
That's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. This is Tandin Funso saying goodbye.